Welcome. I'm Chris.
And I'm Jeff.
Thank you for joining us today as we introduce and talk about Raleigh Game Studios. Raleigh Game Studios is a project that Jeff and I have been working on probably in earnest since the beginning of the year for actually building a video game startup from the ground up.
We wanted to produce some videos to kind of share what we've been going through, what the process has been like, building a game studio and going all the way through producing a game and distributing it. So it's a journey for us. This is our first time doing this. It's going to be a wild ride, I think. And we'll try to also pepper in some fun stuff, conversations that we like to have and things that have inspired us. So really looking forward to sharing our journey with everyone.
Yep, we hope you follow along with us. Now, we started Raleigh Game Studios so that we could create the games that we wanted to play. We love to play the single-player games that have engrossing narratives, that the story is what's at the heart of the experience, memorable characters are at the heart of the experience, and essentially a video game that players start and then they don't want to end.
Yep, that's right. We kind of, at the advent of all these games where it's just multiplayer online battle, we kind of wanted to take a step back and go back to the types of games that kind of made us, and the experiences that we, enjoyed. Being that kid that reads all the time, but then you play a video game and it's still, a story that you can't step away from and that you feel like you're engrossed in. We want to create that same feeling all over again and really give people something they can bite into.
So a little bit about me. I have played video games as long as I can remember, starting out with watching my older brothers play video games. And even I remember one of the stories that my mom would tell is that my oldest brother would record himself playing video games so that we could watch him play video games even when he didn't want to play video games. And so that's always been a part of my life. I've always been video games that I remember fondly are the ones that have strong storylines, and I still think of today, even 20 years after playing, how memorable the characters were and how I felt playing. And that's something that I want to create.
Yeah, and for me, I started out reading a lot, and that was like all I did was just read books. I think in fifth grade I sat with a giant copy of David Copperfield on the playground. And video games were something you did that was fun. But for me, I was playing Super Mario World. That was like formative for me. I didn't really understand that a game could have a story until I kind of got a little older and started playing RPGs where you met these characters and went into these worlds that were just fully fleshed out. And that kind of stuck with me. And I think something we've talked about a lot is that games are absolutely a new form of literature. And the next great novel or work of literature is actually just a game that someone is producing and designing right now. They'll be teaching it in universities in like 100 years. So
We're sooner.
Much sooner.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at. Is I'm a writer. I want to make my mark on the world, and this is a way I can do that.
Right.
Cool.
Currently, Jeff and I are IT project managers, and we're both creative. So it seemed natural at this point in our lives that taking the step to jump into creating a video game company, creating video games is just kind of that natural progression, especially since we've individually toyed around with the idea of being creative and making video games has been, I know personally, one of those things that I've talked about forever, that even going back to when I was a teenager and saying I wanted to learn Japanese so I could go to Japan and make video games. So it just seems the natural progression that would be the next step to actually make that dream a reality.
Right. It's an interesting transition, because all my life I kind of trained to do some form of creative work, creative writing, literature. But initially I wanted to be like a professor. And then I just realized I didn't want to do that. I wanted to learn some more like business like skills, and got into being a PM. But the problem is now, we do projects like for like IT infrastructure and things that on a core level I personally am not passionate about. I can do the job, and it's fun in its own organizational kind of way, but when I get down to it, I don't care about changing out server blades or updating, whatever mainframe system. I don't care. What I care about is like stories and using my imagination and creating things and sharing stories. It's kind of time to like take those two skill sets and smush them together and see what we can do. I think this is what that's about.
Exactly, and it's a good skill set to have, that we can make that natural transition from managing IT projects to managing a video game project, because there's a lot of the same planning and thinking and risk management that goes into a project, and the skill set that you learn as a project manager.
And we say this before we've made anything.
Stuff that you can expect from us in the future, talking about the actual legwork of creating a business, the process that we're going through as we're actually looking for financing, looking for doing our marketing planning, doing our networking planning, all of those important aspects of a business that aren't directly related to a video game production, but just as important, along with the actual designing of a video game and all the procurement process that we go through as we're starting to make the video game into a reality.
And along with that, we'll also kind of bring in some conversations from a creative perspective, and as gamers, as people who play and enjoy games. We've got a set coming up to discuss Cyberpunk, because
Cyberpunk September.
Yeah, Cyberpunk September.
Hopefully they don't push the date back, because I don't think Cyberpunk October sounds quite as good.
It doesn't. Oh, and that's a genre we're really, into, just from a literary perspective. So getting to play through it is going to be fun. And yeah, we're looking forward to talking and sharing our thoughts and conversation.
Yeah, so it'll be a little bit serious, a little bit fun, and hopefully all entertaining. So follow us on this journey.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
You nerds.
Bye.